Welcome to another edition of Time About the Movies Flashback, and today we're flashing back to September 9th, 1988. We got 4 movies to look at today, so let's just go ahead and jump on into it. We'll start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, Paul Mazurski's follow-up to Down and Out in Beverly Hills, starring Richard Dreyfuss, and that is Moon Over Parador.
President of Parador hasn't been himself lately, but with a little makeup.
You're asking me to be an imposter.
A little rehearsal.
Left. Wrong.
And a bit of persuasion.
Play the part or I'll kill you.
Richard Dreyfuss has become the new president of Parador.
Let's do some aerobics.
From the creators of Down and Out in Beverly Hills, Richard Dreyfuss and Sonia Braga. Moon Over Parador. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, September 9th at theaters everywhere.
So this is based off of a short story called Caviar for His Excellency by Charles Booth, and it is a loose remake of a 1939 film, The Magnificent Fraud, and it stars Richard Dreyfuss as a little-known actor hired to impersonate a deceased Latin American dictator, with Raul Julia and Sonia Braga in supporting roles. This is a film that came out shortly after the release of Down and Out in Beverly Hills. Of course, Richard Dreyfuss was in that film, so Universal wanted to cash in on that success. The result was not so successful. This was a box office bomb when it came out, but the performances were highly praised. Richard Dreyfuss got a lot of praise for this, and Sonia Braga and Raul Julia got nominations for Golden Globes for the Best Supporting Actor and Best Supporting Actress category. And the biggest problem that people had with this movie was that it had elements of a clever satire, and it never goes beyond the fun, gentle mode of an amusing travelogue. That's what Janet Maslin of the New York Times said about it. I'd never seen the film, but honestly, I can kind of see where they're coming from. I see the potential here. There is a potential here for some really good satire, but I feel like it kind of plays, from the trailers that I've seen for this, it feels like it plays a little too safe for its own good. There could be some really good political satire in a film like this, but it never really feels like it goes that route where it could be something really, really funny and really goes all in. But unfortunately, it doesn't feel like it goes that way. It's only got a PG-13. I think it was a PG-13 rating on here, but even then, like, you do expect a lot more from a movie like this. I mean, there are a lot of ideas that could work here. The performances do look like they're a ton of fun. Richard Dreyfuss looks like he's having fun in the role. So is Raul Julia. It's very interesting seeing him with that blonde hair, too. That's something I'm not used to seeing from him. But, I mean, their potential seems like it's there. It just doesn't look like it really goes as much as it probably should to really like hammer in the satire elements, the satirical elements. That's something like they probably should have gone an R rating out, but it doesn't look too bad, honestly, from the stuff I've seen from it. But it definitely looks like a film that could have been so much more than it actually is. So, Moon Over Parador. On to the next movie, and that is Running on Empty.
Letting him go because it's not safe. Aren't we supposed to question authority? You taught me that.
We should turn ourselves in.
It's dangerous for you, and it's dangerous for them.
We can't keep them locked up. What about us?
You need me.
I need you. We have to let him go.
A story of love, loyalty, and letting go. Running on Empty. Directed by Sidney Lumet.
So Running on Empty is the story of a counterculture couple played by Judd Hirsch and Christine Lottie on the run from the FBI, and their son, played by River Phoenix, wants to break out of that fugitive lifestyle and actually stay in a town and live a life. And it's a very intriguing film. It's a film that has asked a lot of questions. This is actually one of Sidney Lumet's last notable films as a director that was actually a big success. This actually comes after a couple of misfires with Daniel, Garbo Talks, Power, The Morning After. There was a stretch between The Verdict, which was the last big movie that got a lot of Oscar consideration, and this film. And it's a very thought-provoking film. It shows River Phoenix in one of his really good breakout performances that got him an Academy Award nomination, and unfortunately was only about 6 years after he would leave our world. But it showed the potential of this guy as an actor who was really, really good. Judd Hirsch was just coming on to Dear John around this time on NBC, and he's been a great actor for a number of years as well. Christine Lottie's also great. Martha Plimpton's in this movie as well. It's a very well-made film. It's a great drama. It doesn't feel like it's not forcing the emotional moments onto you. They're earned in this film. This writer, Naomi Foner, who's actually the mother of both Jake and Maggie Gyllenhaal, I found out later on, she does a good job of handling the script overall. It's a very well-made film, and it does keep you invested throughout the course of the film. It's actually one of the few Lorber films that they've done that's actually been very successful. I don't think the studio which was like kind of a subsidiary of Warner Brothers, did very well in terms of their film division. I can't remember any other notable films they did except for the Michael Jackson movie Moonwalker. I'm trying to see here. A couple of notable films, but nothing too big and too successful. I'm seeing a couple now. Sob, which is a very underrated Blake Edwards film. Officer and a Gentleman is probably one of their biggest successes. The Dead Zone, Last Starfighter, and then kind of it was getting down the road to where their films were not making as much money as some of the other films did. The last thing they did was The Witches, but you couldn't even tell from the trailers for that film, because I don't think that's even on the trailer for that one, because I covered that one on the original Time About the Movie Show. If you want to go check that out, I'll put a link to it in the corner there. But as far as this movie goes, I think it's one of the more notable films that actually did have some success overall, and it works because it's a very good drama. It's a very good drama with great actors all around, a really good story to tell. It's Sidney Lumet doing what Sidney Lumet does so well. It was a nice return to form for him. It kind of got him back on track, and it's a well-made film. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend checking it out. Running on Empty is definitely worth a watch. So, with that said, on to our next movie, and that is Track 29.
My name is Martin. That's spot on, quite right. Jolly as shrewd. I'm from England. I've come all the way across the pond in search of my mama.
Speaking of The Witches, this is actually directed by the guy who gave us The Witches, Nicholas Roeg, and it follows the story of Teresa Russell as a doctor's wife who tires of his obsession with model trains and spends her days wondering about the son she gave up for adoption at birth, and while eating at a roadside cafe, she encounters a British hitchhiker, played by Gary Oldman, who actually turns out to be her son. They spend time together to find a bond, the son begins to hate the husband, and the wife begins worrying about the safety of her husband and her train set. And from what I've seen here, it's a very bizarre-looking film. This is one of Gary Oldman's earliest film roles after Sid and Nancy. It's also got Christopher Lloyd as the husband. Colleen Camp is also in here. Sandra Bernhard, Seymour Cassell. I've never seen the film in full, so I can't really say if it's any good or not. But it's a Cannon film too. Cannon films around this time was not turning out the best movies overall. They make, in terms of so bad it's good movies, they can get you there, but this is a film that's trying to take itself a little too seriously overall, and it just feels like it's all over the place from the stuff I've seen from it. I don't know if it's any good or not. I've never heard anybody say it's actually pretty good, so I don't know. I don't think it's something that I need to see right away. I've never heard anything too great about it, but it seems like a weird, bizarre film. I'll give it that. So, yeah, that's Track 29, so let's go ahead and move on to our last film, and that is Patrick Dempsey in Some Girls.
An incredible week with an unforgettable family. Especially the sisters.
What are you doing?
Just taking all things up.
What for? I don't think you should leave. We're all just getting to know you.
There's Some Girls.
So in this film, you have Patrick Dempsey playing a college student who visits his girlfriend, Gabriella, who's played by Jennifer Connelly, and her family for Christmas in Canada. When he gets up there, she tells him that she doesn't love him anymore, and Michael attempts to see what is happening. Meanwhile, her family is excessively strange. Her father is an atheist writer who spends most of the time wandering the house nude. Her mother is a devout Catholic who bears eccentrics of her own. The sisters, along with Michael, visit their grandmother at a mental institution where she mistakes Michael for a dead husband. Meanwhile, Gabrielle's sisters express interest in him. Granny escapes the hospital and heads back to the home in the woods. The family chases after her. Michael is kept reeling, and hilarity ensues. Some of the other people in here, Sheila Kelly from L.A. Law is in here as the other sister. Andre Gregory is also in here. Andre Gregory is, of course, from My Dinner with Andre, who plays the father in this. I really don't know how to feel about this film. I've never seen it before. I've never heard anybody say it's any good. The director of this is Michael Hoffman, who would later give us Soap Dish and also Restoration and One Fine Day and A Midsummer Night's Dream. But other than that, though, I don't know if this movie's any good or not. I've never seen anything about it that says that it is good. Most of the reviews I've heard from it are very mixed, if anything. Like, I'm looking at Rotten Tomatoes right now. It has only a 43% in terms of the tomato meter and 42% of an audience score on there. So, probably doesn't mean it's that great of a film. I mean, it looks like it might be worth it just to see an early film with these actors, Dempsey, Connolly, Kelly, Andre Gregory, of course. But other than that, though, it's a Robert Redford-produced film, too. I just see that as well. Other than that, though, it just looks like a film that's trying way too hard to be something unique and different, and doesn't really have that last big thing to really push it to another level. I mean, could be good, but I haven't seen it, so I can't really say too much about it. So, some girls. And so with that said, we wrap up another time about the movie's Flashback. When we meet next time, we'll head to Labor Day weekend 1988 with films that really are not that noticeable. There's 2 movies here that I've never seen, so we'll probably get to that one really quickly. We've got The Deceivers and also Rocket Gibraltar. So we'll take a look at those films next time. Don't expect a whole lot. I'm just saying that right now. But if you like what you see, hit the like and subscribe button. And check out the previous episode. And don't forget to check out our playlist. And thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next week with another episode. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care.